එකෙක් කියලා. අර 10 F එකේ කියන විනාඩි 5ක් කියලා.
take care of your aches and pains. Siddha Labour Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved Max Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන් Nippon ඕඩලස් paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Siddha Labour Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
A very good afternoon and welcome to live coverage of this Clifford Cup semi-final between CRNFC and Police Sports Club for what is going to be an absolute cracker of a game, I'm sure, as both clubs battle for the prestigious Clifford Cup, which is on offer. It's an over 100-year-old competition, and it's on offer once again after a lapse of a couple of years because of the COVID pandemic. But we are now back to action as usual, as the CRNFC team, who are probably favourites going into this game given their second place finish in the league, and also the fact that it is their centenary year. They will want to cap it off with a big win. They're already winners of the Clifford Cup many times over, but they would want this to be one of their most recent wins, and that's something that I'm sure that the red shirts will want to take home into their trophy cabinet. But the blue shirts will not want to give that away easily, certainly, because Police have been getting better and better as the league finished. That loss to Air Force in their final game of the season will have been well behind them now, and they managed to demolish the same opposition last week, and they will come into this semi-final with a lot of confidence. That's the standings, or at least that's the draw. We had CRNFC receiving a bye in the first round. Police and Air Force battled it out, and that was a really good win for Police after losing to the same opposition in the plate final. And then, of course, we had Havelocks taking on Army, and a surprise win for Army in that encounter. And then we had Navy Sports Club, who also received a bye by virtue of their third place finish in the league, and that match will come to you on Thursday from the same venue as well. So the Clifford Cup, aptly being called by Clifford in the commentary box with me as well, but we'll get to that just after the CRNFC team card. Lahiru Pavitra, Amit Gurusinghe, Kalindu Kariyawasam, Ravin De Silva and Soiru Anthony combined in the second row. Radhishan Achitha, Vagisha Veerasinghe returns from a shoulder injury. Lasindu Karunatilaka restored to the starting lineup. Kavindu De Costa, Tenuka Nanayakara, Kalindu Nandila is still on the left wing as Manilka Ruberu makes a welcome return to the number 12 jersey for CRNFC. Chatura Senivaratna at 13. 19, Gamanu Chetia and Zubair Dore, pretty much a first-choice side for Sia. Dilshan Jaya, Senora Pereira, Kavin Srivikum, Shanal Adhikari, Harshan Eranda, Viduna Amanet, Chemod Mutunayaka and Kavindu Yasas making up the bench for the Longdon Place lads who have just made a short trip from across the town. And then police also who've made a short trip down Havelock Road. Amjad Faumi, Dulanjana Vijay Singh, Hashan Fernando, Hafiz Tabit, Mohan Vimalaratne, the captain, has been outstanding, and Chanaka Surya Perum also in the line-out, leading with a lot of experience. Lahiru Tilakaratne and Heshan Tilakaratne have been good for police. Primesh Danushka is a live wire scrum half. Prince Chamara is at fly half today. Janit Chanaka returns to the left wing. Rukshan Madhusanka and Akash Madhusanka, two very dangerous runners, and I think the CR midfield will have their hands full with these two boys if they get some ball. Sujan Koditoaku and Shane Hopwood is the last line of defense. Danushka Edrusuri and Rashid Silva, Deshan Fernando bringing in a lot of weight off that bench for the police lads. Shanaka Harishchandra, also an experienced campaigner, former captain of police, on the bench today. Udaya Sanjula, Pradeep Kumara, Shavin Javardhana and Vihanga Pivituru will make up the rest of the bench for Police Sports Club. So it's going to be a great match. Clifford Club and Clifford Surendran in the commentary box with me as well. A 112-year-old trophy, Clifford, lots to play for.
Well, very much so. Thank you, Shanaka, and good afternoon to all our viewers. Yes, Shanaka, it's going to be a fantastic evening, and this is going to be a fantastic game for CRNFC. It's going to be their, well, pretty much almost like the home ground. It's close by, but again, Police, on the other hand, well, having a fantastic season this year, and having won the Plate Championship, and also overcoming, or rather becoming runners-up in the Plate Championship, but then again, taking revenge, a sweet one in the previous round against Tuskers, and now they are playing against the mighty CRNFC. So I would say equal opportunities, but on the cards, it's going to be CRNFC who's going to be going as favourites.
Yes, it's going to be a cracking game, that's for sure, because police have nothing to lose, and they have to make sure that they go back with some kind of trophy to be shown to their faithful at the Police Field Force headquarters just down the road, and that's something that I'm sure they will be eyeing, that Clifford Cup. The 112-year-old Clifford Cup, of course, initially awarded by Lady Clifford, who was the wife of Sir Hugh Clifford, who was colonial secretary and then was elevated to governor of Ceylon, as it then was. This was initially given for a trophy between the British regiment serving here in Sri Lanka and the all Ceylon 15, as well comprised of the expatriate rugby community here in Sri Lanka. We may not remember, of course, that rugby was almost an exclusively expatriate game back in the early 1900s, and this club that's on show, CRNFC, in 1922 was the first club that was founded for Sri Lankan players to play club rugby, and that's when people who were not expats were allowed to join a club and actually play rugby in the way that they wanted it to be played. So that's a big step, of course, for the Clifford Cup and for CRNFC as well in 1922. And in 1950, the Clifford Cup began to be given away for the winners of the league championship. So the Clifford Cup, which was a two-team draw rather, expanded to a four-team draw and then became something that all the league played for. And the first winners in 1950 were Havelocks, and they held on to that crown for a couple of times longer. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing them taking part in this competition anymore because they lost in the quarterfinals, a surprise loss to Army after such a good showing at the start of the league season. Everyone expected them to be at least a semi-final contender, but Army knocking them off that spot. You can see Mohan Vimalaratne, the skipper of the police team, asking for help, not just from his 14 teammates, but hopefully someone from above as well, as they take on this CRNFC team. Don't make any mistake, this police team will be brimming with confidence after that big win against Air Force, and CRNFC will have had a little bit more rest given the fact that they have not been able to play that quarterfinal, and they will be expected to use that rest to good effect, and let's see how that goes. A big thank you, of course, at the start of the broadcast to Mr. Neil Vijayaratne, a certified rugby historian, one of the most interesting gentlemen to talk about Sri Lanka rugby with. Thank you very much, Mr. Neil Vijayaratne, for letting us have all the history to share with our viewers today on this Clifford Cup tournament. So it's a big game. For one of these teams, it will be their last game for 2023. We'll find out who that is in the next 80 minutes or so. Don't forget the addition of Dulanjana Vijayasinghe is something that CRNFC have not had to deal with before. So that's something that will be a change in the way that this police team competes as well. But for CR, they are back with their full complement. Manilka Ruberu coming back after a bad hamstring injury in the final round game against Havelocks. And he was not available for Kandy Sports Club's battle with the CRNFC up in Nittavala. But he's back today, and that will be a big boost for Coach Lasinta Di Costa and head coach Dushant Luke as well. As we look out over this picturesque ground here, another very historic ground where Sri Lanka hosted the All Blacks for the first time in 1907. Well, for the only time, I should say, in 1907. So plenty of history, not just in these two shirts, in the blue shirt of police and the red shirt of CRNFC, but in this whole location, in this whole tournament. And all of us here who are watching rugby back in 2023, after the tournament was, the club was first awarded in 1911. Going to be an outstanding game, I'm sure, as it will be police to receive the kickoff. Chatura Seneviratne is the man who will be kicking off for CRNFC in that number 13 jersey.
Oh, beautiful atmosphere here. And what a great afternoon for a knockout game. Weekday, but still you can see crowd gathering. And we can see a lot of people joining on our live coverage. And there you go, CRNFC starts.
Kicked off by Chatura, right down to Dulanjana Vijayasinghe, who takes the onus of clearing himself. So he's playing at hooker, but thought nothing about sending that ball deep into touch. That will be the first line out for CR, something that has plagued them for a while this season, but they've gone with a 5-man line out. Immediately they go all the way to the back, well collected by Ravin De Silva. He had to do some acrobatics up there, but knocked forward, and you can't blame Ravin because he came down almost on his side. Players did well to keep him up there, and he did well to receive it. And Mohan Vimalaratne has a go at the hooker, as you would want to get under the skin of the opposition in the first few minutes.
Yeah, I think probably the wind would have contributed as well. A little bit breezy here, but nice weather. And if you look at Police lineup, strong as ever. They have done fantastic work throughout the season. And today they're going to be a real threat to CRNFC. There you go, the real test starts here. The first scrum of the game, and Police have their ball.
Primesh Danushka to feed. We have a massive scrum against the head by, sorry, not against the head, but a massive scrum by Police. Gamunu Chetia getting under it, but not being able to collect that ball cleanly. Zubair Dure muscled off the ball as well, but now CRNFC have it through Vagisha Veerasinghe. He leaves the ball behind and eventually dragged into touch. Was the Police 14. Chanit Chanaka, who is making a welcome return after an ACL injury which kept him out for quite a long while from this Police jersey. Ravin Alexander will be our referee today, assisted by Hasanta Veranga and Gihan Yatavara. Yatavara on the near side. And CRNFC have now gone to the other side of the field from the original line-out, so the hooker will need to make sure he sorts out his throw. This time it's much better. Ravin De Silva, who collects it, hands it off to Soiru Anthony. Experienced Sri Lanka player, Anthony, finding his way into a CRNFC jersey this year. Good hands from Sia. Cutting back into centre field was Kalindu Nandila, who's playing on the left wing side today, preferred ahead of Ekanayaka, and Ravin Alexander has spotted another knock-on. So CR letting themselves down with a few knock-ons early on and giving up play to this big scrum. Clifford, the way they monstered that first scrum was really a sight to behold for Police.
Yeah, of course, Shanaka. And also, if you look at it, see, CR is trying to press it through the forwards pretty much, and they know what the strength they have. But in the meantime, Police would like to run the ball around. But also, we know Police also do have a strong forwards lineup. So this is going to be a good condition. And I think pretty much of the first half, what we are going to see is the contest between the forwards.
Interesting that Dulanjana Vijayasinghe is now packing down at number 8, so you might see him coming off the back. And it's Achit Radishan on the far side who may have to deal with the man mountain that is Vijayasinghe hurtling at him. Ravin Alexander, the referee, wants to see what's going on the far side between the Police tight head and the CR loose head. So big scrum to start with from Police, and that would have really demoralized CR a little. Here they go again. Dulanjana holding it at the back, trying to milk a penalty, and now he gets it, playing the advantage. So Primesh Danushka will try to run, but referee Ravin Alexander has no hesitation. He says the CR pack broke away. So looks like it could be a long afternoon, Clifford, if the scrum goes this way, and there are a few scrums in the game.
Well, sadly, the early stages will be a little bit pushing and pulling, but then again, I'm sure this game's got plenty of wire, and it's going to get even better. And looking at these two sides, how they have prepared, knowing this is going to be a knockout championship, and definitely this is going to be an exciting encounter. And Police, if you look at it, well, they are very much well planned, and you can see how composed they are, and compared to CR's side. But on the other hand, CR also thriving in confidence, which is very important for a game at this stature. And line outs, they've been doing it well, but then again, Police right now. And good take. And that's going to be a loose ball. Oh, breaking away, and CR defense struggling to bring that down. But seems like a turnover ball. CR have done so well to turn that around, but looking for options on both ends. And for the first time, they're spreading their wings.
Chatra Seneviratne putting that down inside the 22, and Shane Hopwood has no option but to grab it quickly. Gamunu Chetia needs to realize that if he's to take a quick throw in, he needs to go behind where the ball went out. So it's a little bit of a lack of awareness that prevented what could have been a quick throw. But a good grubber down the touchline from Chatra Seneviratne. So again, the line out is something that CRNFC will have to struggle with if they're not careful. Got a new throw, and they've gone immediately to 2 really long throws. Not sure that's the most sensible thing to do if your line out is wobbly. But Radishan is up in front at number 2 this time, so they've thought better of going long and set up a much better maul for themselves as a result of that short throw. Kavindu De Costa now at the back of that maul, marching it towards the touchline. Our Police done well to keep it from going across. The ball's gone all the way down, and CR have really not helped themselves at all. It's becoming a repeat of what we saw up in Nittavala, Clifford, that they've got into really good positions, good opportunities, and just make mistakes.
Well, lots of concentration, I guess. Probably they're getting along with the flow, but then again, this is not the right time to do it. It's a knockout, it's a deciding game. You have to get your act together. These are small things. I think probably the scrum off can call those shots, but again, the forwards have to be a little bit organized. But on the other hand, Chatra Seneviratne, a good kick, and I'm happy to see his growth, being a hot-tempered schoolboy to a mature player now, and he's a real threat in this game.
Well, he could be a threat if he plays well. He's a bit like Goldilocks. Sometimes very, very good. Sometimes not so much. So again, the second scrum for police, or the third scrum, they'll have to march this one forward. They're really making a statement here, trying to milk the penalties. Sierra's pack has disintegrated. And now with the advantage, police will try to run this one, but they'll come back for the penalty because there's no advantage accruing, and certainly Ravin Alexander coming back. So this Clifford Cup, of course, awarded at a time that the plantations were really ruling the rugby community, lots of expatriate players. Ravin Alexander having a chat with the CR front row, saying you can't come up, you have to stay bound, even if you're marching backwards. So this is good to see, Clifford. A little bit of intervention from the referee saying, this is the problem, mate. I want you to fix it, otherwise I'll have to penalize you. So that's good communication.
Well, the message is loud and clear, and I'm sure the team will understand what the referee was trying to communicate, because see, they can't be having those errors, and this is kind of a caution as well, so which is a good call. But on the other hand, police, a little bit of a breather for them, and Sierra was putting a little bit pressure on them right now. They got a little bit of space to get out of jail. But if you also look at, like you rightly said earlier, or rather some things you spotted, Dulanjana Vijay Singh coming at number 8 is making an impact in those scrums, and he's been able to turn around 2 scrums now back to back.
Yeah, it's been a really dominant performance so far by the police forwards. Vijay Singh looked like he had a badly strapped ankle in the quarterfinal, but didn't worry him one bit. Here he is taking on the mantle of throwing as well. And that's well stolen at the front, but police come back and get it. Nobody seemed to want the ball for Sia. And again, a big penalty coming in, taken quickly by Primesh Tanushkar. Might have thrown the ball away, might have thrown away a chance, and here it is. Yes, there was a knock on there, so Primesh Tanushkar took it quickly. But police won't mind this because it's a scrum in the opposition's half. It'll be the first time that they've encroached into the opposition half. And even though it's only by a few meters, they'll get their heads up and watch for Dulanjana Vijay Singh on the open side towards the pavilion.
Well, last couple of minutes the game has been a little bit lethargic, so probably he thought of spicing it up by taking a quick tap, but there was no proper support play, and from there on was a little bit of haji-baji there, or rather let me say like a little bit of improper ball handling. But CR, they have the ball in hand, and police, like you said, first time inside the CR territory, and they love to retain position and move forward.
So on this defensive scrum, Dulanjana Vijay Singh goes to the front and Surya Peruma to the back. Big push and Lashan Devishan comes off. Good pass out to Manilka Ruberu, who's isolated, needs some help, and Karuna Tilaka does well to get there. Now it's available for the big prop forward of CRNFC. It's quick ball. Tenuganane Kara spotting a bit of a gap and putting it through. Shane Hopwood gathering. Police have turned and recovered well. And the penalty now comes the opposite way. So referee Ravin Alexander very quick on that infringement. Doesn't want players to go past the ball with their hands. Doesn't want them to fall on the ball. And Kavinda De Costa wastes no time in pointing to the posts.
Well, Shanak, in the first place, that pass was never meant to be for Amjad Form. You can look at it. It was supposed to be a long cut-out pass, but he just put his hands out and grabbed it. And then again, he got isolated. So, the turnover penalty, and it's a great chance for CR to get some points on the board that will give them some confidence. And Chatura Sinivaratna, so far so good in the season for CRNFC. If we can make this count, and that's going to give them an advantage. Very sensible decision.
Yes, they've spent quite a bit of time now most of this 12 minutes on our clock in the police half and have nothing to show for it despite getting close a few times. So getting points on the board, especially in this big knockout final, or semi-final I should say, is good thinking by Kavindra Di Costa, and execution is good this time from Chatura Seneviratne. He's been a little up and down in his kicking. Started off the season really well and then fell away. And this augurs well for CRNFC if he's on target today. Can see how much distance he got on that. That ball was still going upwards when it passed the posts. So there's no denying his undeniable talent.
So that's a good start to CRNFC. 3-0 on the board. Police on the back foot. I'm sure they have plenty of time and gas in hand to fight back. And the restart. Good high hanging kick.
So Police 50 years on, trying to emulate their first foray into the finals in 1962. Our historian Neil Vijayaratna has given us all this information. We're very grateful to him as Shane Hopwood thumps this one up in the air, well chased, but also equally well taken by Kalidu Nandila, who fights for a little bit of time before his support can get there. And Chatura Seneviratne this time will thump it long and deep to the danger man. Here's Dulanjana Vijayasinghe. He'll get up ahead of steam, but Lasindu Ishan Karunatilaka goes low and fells his man. Manilka Ruberu now to Dore. Here's a little bit of space for Gamanu Chetia. But the referee will have a chat to his assistant Yatavara.
Red number 8. Red number 8. Without arm tackle gana ba, block tackles gana ba. So this will last warning. So start with the penalty, right?
Well, that was about Lasin Levishan's tackle. He went low, and I thought I saw an attempt to wrap, but Gihan Yatavara didn't. Obviously that you have to be commonsensical when you approach these. Here it is, going nice and low.
The penalty for the block tackle.
Be hard pressed to get your arms around Dulanjana Vijayasinghe at that pace, but just bumped him off. But the penalty is with Police, and they will go into the opposition 22 for the first time.
Dulanjana Vijayasinghe have been very instrumental in getting 3 penalties. And, well, that was actually a tough one going face to face, and just going to a block tackle very low, very unfortunate. But again, Police deep inside CRNFC territory, and this is going to if they can get their line out right, like the previous couple occasion, I'm sure they'll be able to make something out of the Shanaka.
Absolutely, Clifford. Police's line out has probably been one of the best in the competition. Here's Mohan Vimalaratna, calls for it himself and taken easily at the top. Here's Surya Peruma, wearing the number 8 jersey today. Quick ball for Primesh Danushka. So no Johan Piris in the line out today. It's Prince Chamara who's at number 10.
Advantage, not rolling away.
Not rolling away from one of the CR players. That looks like it's
Number 31.
Ashan Darling on the floor. So
Number 31. Not rolling away.
in fact, it's Kalindu Kariyavasam. And this should be easy points.
Well, I was waiting for the decision. Going to be what interesting decision going to be? Probably a scrum or going for touch, or maybe going for goal. So a sensible thing. They want to get the points on board to make things even before they restart. And remember that this is what happened in when they were playing against Air Force in the league game, Shanaka. They were not taking those chances, and gradually the points were getting away from them. So this time they decided against that, which makes sense. You learn from the mistakes.
Absolutely. And the Prince Chamara wearing 15 on his back but playing in the fly half position. Looking to put the first points on the board for Police, and easy does it for Prince Chamara. And the first points for Police in this Clifford Cup semi-final.
Well,
not sure the scoreboard reads accurately. It should be 3 points all at the moment.
there you go. That's a replay. Just a simple punch, and the ball goes between the poles. So 3-all. It's all even now, and CR to restart again. Police showing some stealth and getting back their mojo. But once again, CR pressing hard inside, deep inside Police territory.
Tackle by Vagisha Veerasinghe there, dragging the Police player down deep in his own territory, and they will now have an attacking line out. What that means, of course, will remain to be seen, because CRNFC have this unique ability to completely botch up an attacking opportunity, especially if it's a line out in the opposition 22. So if you're a Red Shirts fan, don't get too close to the edge of your seat, because the Police line out has been excellent. Clifford, they've got a couple of maybe basketball players at Field Force headquarters. Maybe they play a bit of basketball as their warm-up. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe, I'm sure, has played basketball for Wesley, so he'll be able to instruct these jumpers, Mohan Vimalaratna and Chanaka Surya Peruma. Not got a lot of options in the lineup, but the ones they do, they use really well, Police, and that's something that CR will have to start doing as well. Ravin De Silva looks like he'll be the target man. In fact, it's Vagisha Veerasinghe in the middle, and it's really well done, bringing that one down, and no advantage. Referee Ravin Alexander didn't see anything wrong in that collapsing, as Chatro Seniratna takes 3 players to bring him down, but he's had the ball stripped from him. And that looked like it was a strip, but the referee seeing a knock-on instead. And getting close, but no cigar again for CRNFC. Certainly was a strip, so there's no knock-on, and there was a knock-on from a Police player there. So in that melee, Ravin Alexander missing that strip.
Well, that'll give some breathing space for Police, and CR had a good passage of play, good line out, and well driven by Chatru Senaratne. But right now Police, they have a little bit of breathing space to get things back in order. But on the other hand, CR, once they get into the opposition territory, they are pretty strong. But then again, Shanaka, they are not converting those opportunities into points. This is not the first time we saw in this game so far. Already 3 or 4 times it has happened.
Indeed, and the stop-start game will suit their style. CR will want a little bit more flowing, but this game so far, the last 21 minutes, has been very stop-start. Lots of breaks between the scrums. Ramesh Danushka feeding that, as he is now allowed to do, into the second row, and this is where the penalty comes. So referee Ravin Alexander explaining what he did before. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe wanted to go quickly, but too quickly for referee Alexander's liking.
That was an interesting call. Taking a short tap inside. Probably knew there was a player behind him and trying to get that 10 yards advantage.
Well, see, I have got to be careful, don't they? Because it's about the 3rd time that they're giving away this same penalty. It might not be long before they see one of their front row players going to the bin.
Time stop. Water break. 1 minute water break.
And it looks like it's a water break, so as if we haven't had enough stoppages, we have yet another one. And it will be the water break that's designated before the game. And here you can see the pack leader, Soiru Anthony, and the captain just asking exactly what's going on. Assistant referee Weranga not wanting his colleague to get too involved in the chat in the break.
What a massive history for this Clifford Cup, Shanaka. Donated by Lady Clifford. And the inauguration was in 1911. But actually, when it comes to the club championship, it was 1950. All the clubs were taking part in that. And Havelocks seems to be the first winners, the inaugural winners of the club championship. Quite interesting.
And in 1985 was the first time that there were 2 cups awarded. There was one given for the league champions and then a separate knockout tournament for the Clifford Cup, and that's the format which we see here today. It's a format that has continued since 1985. Nippon Paints sponsoring the league as well as this Clifford Cup tournament. Very grateful for them for being on board with Sri Lanka Rugby. See some of the brains trust at the back there of CRNFC. Dinuk De Silva Vijayaratna. Next to him, Commander Nalin De Silva of Sri Lanka Rugby, and the tournament committee, as we see Dulanjana Vijayasinghe at the back of that mall, directing it into space. And referee Ravin Alexander consistent with his call there. Sports Ads, one of your leading production houses for live events, multi-camera productions, live replays, graphic solutions, interviews, sports specialists, bringing this Nippon Paints Clifford Cup semi-final to you live from the racecourse.
Well, racecourse used to be the airfield during the Second World War. And then again became in fact a race course with the stables, and now International Rugby Stadium. Well maintained, beautiful atmosphere always when you walk in here. Massive stadium like atmosphere, good pavilion, very colonial structure. It's spicing up the game.
Big drive from police, but Kavinda De Costa manages to get it away in time. Yes, Khalidun Andila coming in off his wing. Through the hands for Gamunu Chetia, but Sia's attack drifting sideways, so police covered it fairly easily. Good tackle in the end by the police team.
Run away, Blue! Advantage!
Sia still with the ball, but not rolling away is the call. Chatura Seneviratne will step up again, perhaps point to the sticks. It's well within his range, and yes, Sia will hope to get even more points on board. It's a very close game, nothing in it. The only dominance there being shown is by Police's pack over Sia in their scrum. There's the tackle from Police number 15. Prince Jamara.
Shanaka looking at his previous kick, and with the support of the wind, I'm sure this is very much within his kickable distance, and if he can make it count, that'll be one of the greatest kicks in this year's championship so far.
Well, he's kicked a couple from even beyond the halfway line, so this should be well within his range, but accuracy has been the problem for Chatura Seneviratne over a few key games for Sia. Fortunately for them, didn't affect them too much in terms of results, but would have helped them get their points for tally much higher. Strikes that beautifully. However, it's just a little bit to the left, outside the off stump. And they will now face it. You can see he's frustrated with that.
So the score will remain at 3-all. Police opting to go faster instead of going deeper.
Quick 22-meter dropout. That's not something we see often in the modern game.
Don't move!
Zubair manages to time his tackle well. Here's Amjad Fahmy bustling through. Shane Hopwood now with the little chip kick into the opposition 22. No option but for Chatura Seniviratta to throw that ball out, and that should be a penalty. He can't throw the ball out. He could have run it into touch, but he can't throw the ball out. So I think CRNFC have got away with one there. You're not allowed to pass or throw the ball out. You can only kick or run the ball out. So that's something for the young players watching. If they're ever in a situation like that, you've got to carry the ball over the line. Doesn't matter though, as police will have the throw-in just maybe 10 meters back from where they would have had it if the penalty was given. CR trying to sack that line out, but getting the ball away quickly to Surya Peruma, who does well to go over the top of Lasindu Ishan. Nice short pass. And now the pick and go. This is where they're so strong. That was Hashan Fernando rather. Here's Dulanjana barging his way towards the line. Almost unstoppable from 5 meters out. Primesh Danushka, Surya Peruma. The timing wasn't great, but he got there in the end. Here's police sizing up their options. They know that this pick and go is their bread and butter. Dulanjana over the line and he scores. Referee hasn't seen it though. And he'll have a chat with his assistant, Gihan Yatavara, on this side. Looked very much like Dulanjana got it over the line. And that's exactly what Gihan Yatavara has said as well. Seems to find his way to the try line.
Well, that was a close one, but then again we have to take a look at the replay. But again, like you said, pick and go has been their bread and butter, and they have done so well. Look at that, Shanaka.
There's Dulanjana on the right-hand side of your screen. Sees the ball here. Achit Radishan off his feet. And that looks like it's over the line. So I think that's a try, but Radishan should have done better to get back to his... And I think he knew as well that the ball was grounded.
Nice call.
Referee Ravin Alexander not in the correct spot, but Gihan Yatavara was, and that's why there's a team of referees, because it's impossible for one band to see everything. Prince Chamara taking this one quite far back for a straightforward kick, and police in the lead for the first time in this game.
Chamara taking his time to ensure, and a couple of players charging and still managed to get it through. 10-3, and this is going to be a little bit of advantage for police, and CR will be under pressure. And like we projected a little bit early on the game, it is going to be the forwards game, and police have done well so far.
Number 31.
Yes, 10 points to 3 at half-time. You'll read a lot better than 8 points to 3. And we're already half an hour gone, so CRNFC haven't shown a lot of intent. If they are the favourites for this cup, then they really have to show it now, rather than wait much longer. Whereas police seem to
Time back on.
have been slowly coming into ascendancy in this game, controlling it. And CR keeping the ball where police are the strongest, rather than giving it to their backs.
Okay, play.
And trying to keep the ball alive and keep it running longer. Looks like there's a bit of a mix-up in the in the substitutions. The substitution cards flying all over in the wind as well. It's like CR might have made one substitute. It's like it's big number 1, Kalindu Karyavasan, that went off, and ball is knocked on from the kickoff, and the ball is still available as CRNFC will dot it down. And looks like Gihan Yatavara is getting quite involved in the refereeing of this game. Some very crucial decisions.
Penalty only. From here. Blue number 11. Yes. Adin back.
Seemed like there was a knock on, so penalty comes.
Blue number 11.
Seems like the referee is not positioning himself in the right places and therefore missing out on crucial elements, and probably that was the call. It was a late tackle, I guess.
It was for, I think, pulling back the player who was chasing that ball.
Right.
So that's interesting whether there should be a yellow card there as well then, because there was a try scoring opportunity perhaps as that ball was loose. And why advantage wasn't played all the way through.
Well, I was under the impression the referee was playing advantage. We know there was an infringement. We were not clear of what it was. But then again, the referee was playing advantage. And actually, 2 CR players were chasing the ball as well. Could have been a different story now. But right now, CR has a chance to reduce the deficit. Change of boots.
Chathra misses one, and Tenukanane Akkara gets the opportunity to put CR within 4 points rather than 7. Easy strike for Nane Akkara as his first kick. Been shuffling their kicking duties between the two of them, Tenuka and Chathura. Tenuka scored up in Nittavala as well in that league final. Didn't have a great game defensively, but my apologies, the number 8 for Police is Heshan Tilakaratna, not Surya Peruma. He's been doing some really good work at the back of the scrum.
Taken in.
Seneuratna will thump this one as far down the pitch as he possibly can. And it looks like ball was taken back. So a complete loss of concentration from Kavindu Di Costa. Not realizing where he was. Takes the ball all the way back, and Chathura Seneuratna was very deep in the pocket as well.
Well, I think it was a couple of yards outside the line, and then again Chathura was, like you said, he was very deep inside, and probably he didn't notice that as well. But also actually he was going for deep, but if you look at it, the wind was blowing across the field. It would have contributed, but now Police, they have the chance to capitalize on that. Very much close, and another 5 points on the cards for them.
So this is what we were talking about earlier, Clifford. Chathura does some great things and also puts his team under pressure with a few of these things, these mistakes. Mohan Vimalaratna, they're trying to sack that maul, but not able to do so quickly. And now maybe having a little bit of space now. Seneuratna to Kalindu Nandila. Still going, Nandila dragged to the ground eventually. Zubair Dore goes in and creates that ruck. And here it is through Kavindu Di Costa. Dore at first receiver. Achit Radishan. Now it's quick ball. This is what CR would like to see. Lasindu Vishan taking that forward past the halfway line. That move slowing down, but again, CR still had the ball with them as the referee calls up advantage.
Well, Shanaka, so far I think that was the best running rugby we had so far in the game actually. CR, that's a typical CR style of play, and multiple passages and good faces and fantastic. Finally CR was rewarded with a penalty, and I'm sure they want to go for touch from here onwards, and if Chathura can get that right, it's quite interesting, he's going to go for the post, and yeah, great confidence from the captain.
Well, I don't know whether it's confidence or lack of confidence, Clifford, because if I was on the opposition and the team is experimenting with 55-yard penalties, that means that I've got under their skin. I know that their line-out is not functioning well. I know that they're not confident with their running rugby. So for Police, this will be an actual, even if he gets this, it's going to be a morale booster.
Makes sense. So let's see whether Chatura Senivarana can make it count this time. Last occasion, about 5 yards in front. He pulled it a little bit wide inside.
The chase has to be good for Sia. It's not anywhere near good, but it doesn't matter because he's put it over. The much easier kick that he missed a few moments ago. This is how erratic he can be. When he's good, he's great.
Look at that distance. And going for it. And beautiful dip right above the line. And makes life much easier for the touch judges to make the call. 10-9. Police on the docks at the moment. They had a lead, thought it's going to be healthy, but CR fighting back.
Good chase from Heshan Tilakaratne. Has been playing well in this number 8 jersey.
Second in.
Caterpillar ruck for Sia, and that ball bouncing inside the field of play.
Shanaka, since this is a knockout, if this is going to be a tie, is it going to be extra time?
I think it is going to be extra time, Clifford. We'll have that clarified perhaps at half time.
Well, you have to grind out a result somewhat. It's a knockout. There's no provision for a second leg. The Lanka Rugby is so instrumental in Police so far.
Amjad Fahmy does really well at the back of that line out now. Good instinct from Dulanjana. Just threw it to the open man because Sia have adopted this tactic of standing at the front of the line out. And here's Lasan Luisa now with a little bit of space. Kalidu Nandila calling for the kick through, and Chatura Senivaratne obliges. Primesh Danushka is the man back. Shane Hopwood now will start the counter attack. He's always keen to run. Dragged down in the tackle. Here's Primesh Danushka again. Good counter attack that was by Hopwood. Here's Tilakaratne. Lahiru Tilakaratne that time.
Number 5.
The number 7 jersey. So 2 Tilakaratnes for CI at 7 and 8. The high tackle is what the referee blows up that penalty for. Looks like the Police player might be in a bit of strife. But sometimes that strife is to try and milk a yellow card from a lot of players nowadays.
That's where the referee was number 5, who was going in for the high tackle. That was Soiru Anthony. Let's keep a watch on that.
Kalidu Nandila dragging the Police player down there. Primesh Danushka running into Soiru Anthony. Yeah, runs into Anthony's bicep. Soiru will say, "What can I do, sir? He's only up to my chest."
Well, for me, Shadak, it looks very accidental. And he just collects the ball and he turns around and he finds Soiru Anthony there. Not even a couple of feet away. And, well, that's how the law of the rugby, law of the game is applied. So
well, if there is head contact, that's going to be where the problem is Dick Clifford. They start from there. And that didn't look good as far as head contact was concerned. But as you said, there was no force. So I think penalty is probably the right call for referee Alexander to make.
Number 5.
So another opportunity goes down the drain for CRNFC, penetrating into Police half. And it's a turnover ball. Police, they have some breathing space, trying to go with the kick against the wind, I would say, but managed to get some yardage. But Shanak, if you look at it, this game, the way it started with the hype, but looks very slow and lethargic, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's playing right into Police's hands because CRNFC haven't been able to get that kind of tempo going, and that's why Police are in the lead at the moment because it's a stop-start game. There's been no fluency, and some teams revel in a slow game, and Police is one of those teams. So again, look for Dulanjana over the top to Amjad Fahmy. And oh dear, that's going to be probably a red. It's a yellow, he's lucky. That was absolutely silly by Vagesh Veerasinghe. He knew what he wanted to do and the idea was right, but he absolutely has to execute that perfectly. Amjad Fahmy jumped, but Vagesh was not looking where he was going. That's very silly from an experienced player.
Well, completely mistimed it. He thought he was going to stand and collect like the previous occasion. And Vagesh Veerasinghe, CRNFC flanker, sitting in the dock spot against. I hope Fahmy is not that badly hurt. Was just landing with the shoulder, and hope he's okay. But then again, another opportunity for Police to pick it up from there and move a little bit further. We have to wait for the call to see whether it's going to be.
Looks like Amjad Fahmy is back. Props are generally pretty decent actors. Trying to milk something a little bit more than a yellow perhaps, but I thought Vagesh Veerasinghe found himself quite lucky there because that tackle was pent up. He's lucky the colour was not the same colour as his jersey.
All right, chance again here for Police to extend their lead. If they can make this count, they're quite good with this line-outs.
Dulanjana goes to the back again. That was Lahiru Tilakaratne winning that one. Thought that was sacked in time, but referee Alexander doesn't think so as Dulanjana Vijayasinghe barges this one up towards the opposition 22. Towards the opposition try line, but the penalty is coming and Surya Perumal will look to take it quickly, but thinks better of it in the end. The maul has been functioning really well for Police, so I think they should probably go for that maul. Prince Chamara does step up and sanity prevails. A little emotions running high at half time as well.
So the forwards are planning it. Quite good to see that. Haven't seen that happening in CR camp pretty much of the game, but right now Police 10 points to 9. They're very much looking forward to extend that.
And a score here, you have to say, will put them in prime position to win this game. The way things have been going already, Surya Perumal winning it at the front. Achit Radisha manages to get in there, and it looks like referee Ravin Alexander again is quite consistent with that call as the ball goes down, and he says it's held up and that will be half time. So 10 points to 9, absolutely nothing in it. CRNFC with 14 players on the pitch. They'll have to play another about 8 minutes with 14 players. Can Police take advantage of that in the next few minutes as they come back from half time? So that's going to be what we expect to see in the next 40 minutes. An absolute humdinger of a battle between Police Sports Club and CRNFC for a place in the finals of this Clifford Cup, brought to you by Nippon Paints. We'll be back after the break. We'll be back after the highlights, and that's Chatura Seneviratne with the first points of the game after CR had spent quite a long time in the opposition half, and immediately afterwards Prince Chamara replying to make it 3 points all, where it stayed for a while before this try. Just getting it over the line was Dulanjana Vijayasinghe. Everybody looking up for a few seconds to see what the referee says, and because the referee wasn't on hand, Gihan Yatavara had to step in and assist his main referee and got the call spot on. The ball was grounded over the line, no question about that, even from the angle that we are seeing it. And then that man in your screen, number 7, Vagisha Veerasinghe, had a moment of madness, which we'll see in a bit, as Tenuka Nanayakara puts here within 4 points, and then Chatura Seneviratne with a monster kick put them within 1 point. So 10 points to 9 is how it stayed, as the yellow card came into focus as well. And that's the National Archives watching this game from behind the tree line. We'll be back on Sri Lanka Tuskers YouTube channel. Live coverage of the semi-final of the Clifford Cup tournament between Police and SIA in just a few moments.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන් Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම. Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Siddhale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන් Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම. Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
Welcome back. You're watching the game between CRNFC and Police, and this is the fantastic finals, I would say quarterfinals, between Police and CRNFC at the Clifford Cup Championship 2023, presented by Nippon Paint, and Police going into the half-time with the lead 10 points to 9, and was a heavily a forwards contest in the first half, and the second half hopefully it's going to be a different ball game, Shanika.
Well, hopefully we'll see some running rugby instead of this stop-start that we have been seeing so far. Prince Chamara putting that high into the 22. Zubair Dore coming away with it for Sia and laying it back for Chatra Seniratna to get the first clearing kick of the day. Doesn't find touchdown, not sure whether he meant to, but Shane Hopwood with a raking kick down, looking for that 50-22. Lasin Divishan has covered well. Yeah, he is trying a few side steps, managed to get outside the 22 and was brought down by his opposite number, Tilakaratna. Haven't really seen him having a strong game today. Senivaratna again, this time he kicks it a little short, just up to the halfway line. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe can do nothing wrong today with a huge up and under. Well taken in the end by the Sia skipper. Kavinda De Costa, my goodness, that was a huge up and under, probably a world record for the height of an up and under by a hooker.
Run away! Good survive.
De Costa now, with that box kick that we haven't seen for a while, manages to bounce it into the field of play, and that'll settle the nerves for the skipper. Haven't really seen him do much this season. Very dangerous player from the base. But resorting to box kicks more than anything else, it would be nice to see him run. Real sniper from the base of that scrum when he was at Isipatana in his early days at Sia. But he's playing a different game nowadays. Whereas Primesh Danushka, the opposite number 9, is full of life, full of energy around that base. Prince Chamara entrusted with the number 10 duties today. Sia sacking that maul very early on. Ball goes to ground and Dulanjana Vijayasinghe are now trying to rip it away. The ball was taken into the maul, so doesn't look like anything's happening as Prince Chamara now puts this one to his spiral punt. And the spiral kick, very difficult to take, but Zubair Dore turns the correct way. Puts this little chip kick in. And ball bounces nicely for Gamanu Chetia. Gamanu Chetia, can he get away? Eventually finds Kalindu Nandila.
Get back.
Achit Radishan, now Zubair Dore with the long ball out, but it looks like police have numbers on defense, so Lasindu Ishan sensibly cutting back into where his support is. Kavin Srivikum gets in there to help with the breakdown. Chatra Senivirat now using that little fend. Unfortunately throws the ball away, but luckily for Sia, Ravin De Silva manages to grab it. Here's Kavin Srivikum, good taken by Mohan Tilakaratna on the Sia ball carrier. Here's Dore. Long pass out to Gamanu Chetia once again, tripping over his own feet as he's brought down on the 40-meter line. It's static ball now, Achit Radishan. Well done by the Sia front row forwards to actually hold on to that ball. Tenuka Kara, and then there's a knock-on by Chatra Seniviratna there. So all that good work coming to nothing as we follow this match on our leading sports broadcaster in Sri Lanka. Sports ads. Follow us on the YouTube channel as well. Sri Lanka Sports Tuskers. Primesh Danushka in the ear of the referee, trying to milk something, but only getting a scrum.
Well, very lively passage of play for CRNFC there. Good ball handling, sharing the ball around, spreading those wings and working the ball in both ways. But finally, a little bit of mishandling and giving that ball away. And good lively start. Look at that replay.
Completely unnecessary throw of the ball from Tenuka Nanayakkara. Needed to go down and just hold on to that. Can't blame Chatra Seniviratna for that knock-on. But again, you see how much time has passed between that stoppage and the scrum actually coming into play. This is playing right into the hands of police, and they will be quite happy to grind this out. And Sia need to get a little smarter and see if they can work a little faster. But police will be quite happy for the referee to play at this place. Primesh Danushka. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe keeping it on at the back. The scrum is doing a little better for Sia this time. And this penalty is against the grain, against how the game has been going all the way through. And Amjad Fahmy for the first time, has been pinged for driving upwards in the scrum.
Straight in there.
Well, once again, kickable distance. The previous kick was from the same spot, I guess. And this time against the opposite post.
Thank you, Atta.
9-10. And well, so far we haven't seen CR getting the lead anyways. Police been leading from the beginning. So this gives a chance for CRNFC to get in front of, or rather get ahead of Police.
Well, they did have the lead for a small window of the game, Clifford, when they kicked the first points, where Chatura Seneviratne kicked the first 3, but since then they've been either equal or behind. But that chat, if you were watching that didn't look like a confident CR team, because Chatura Seneviratne looking at Soiru Anthony probably saying, look, I don't have the faith in my forwards to go and win this small. So they're taking a kick from 40 or well, nearly 50 meters on the angle from the wrong side of the field for a right-footed kicker. So Chatura Seneviratne gets this, it looks great, but if not, you've got to think of whether they should have been looking for a little bit more, and that's exactly what it is. As the ball drifts well wide, the kicking coach, T.S. Silva at the back. You can see Chatura saying, perhaps we should have gone down. Perhaps we should have got into the 22.
It shows a little bit of lack of confidence in their set plays. And well, most of the opportunities what CR was getting, pretty much kickable distance, and they were opting for points. Well, makes sense in a way, but on the other hand, they could have taken those chances early on and going in to penetrate.
Karunatilaka deciding to go on his own.
Ball available, ball available.
Here's the new man,
Okay, rock
Amit
form.
Gurusinghe, coming into the CR side today. A lot of depth from the CR backs, and Gamunu Chetia. Again, the pass is not a good one.
Look back.
Referee playing on there, saying that the ball went backwards. Step through for Seneviratne. We have it again for Manilka Ruberu, his first touch of the match in the 46th minute. Here it is for Kavin
Roll away, Blue.
Srivukum. It's a lot of appealing. It's like you're watching a cricket match, isn't it, Clifford? The players appealing like Shane Warne.
Well, Shaneka also, if you look at when CR, every time CR was trying to work the line, the first line, the second line, the back line who was coming in to join, when the ball was dished out to them, seems like they were not prepared. Kind of like they were not prepared and they don't have much options. So that is what is happening. If not, their line was pretty much built, or rather formed well in depth, very nice to see, and they have plenty of angle towards running, but then again, they are running out of options for some reason.
They're going side to side like a pendulum. Nobody's really straightening the offense. That's been their problem all the way through this season. Been playing some nice patterns, but just not been able to get much purchase for it. Rachit Adeshan that time, and Sia, despite missing the jumper, have managed to win the line out, and Ravin De Silva drags it into the 22. Tenuka Nanekkara, that's a nice pass from the fly half. Good hands from Kalindu Nandila as well. Zubair Dore, and that's Gamunu Chetia jumping over one tackle. He's found the ball, so Tenuka Nanekkara to Atit Rajeshan. Eranda Harshana is in there as well, a substitution being made for Vagisha Veerasinghe, I would think. Tenuka Nanekkara taking it to the line, does well to get past a couple of tackles. Here's some good space found by Kavindu De Costa. Ravin De Silva does really well to come back into the field of play, take it within the 5-meter mark. Lahiru Pavitra, I think that is on the pitch. Yes, it is Lahiru Pavitra. And that's a good handoff from Soiru Anthony to Eranda Harshana. And police turn the ball over. Eranda Harshana giving away the pass at a point that it wasn't expected by the opposition. And Prince Chamara very calmly runs that ball and puts it into touch. Sia would feel that they had really missed an opportunity there.
Oh, so unfortunate, Chanaka. They were so there and almost touched it down. And again, that loose tackle and ball falling in no man's land. And Police was quick to grab onto that loose ball and turn it around. And CRNFC, all the hard work once again goes down the drain. And right now, the good thing is, even though they have missed those opportunities, a couple of occasions they missed it, but now they have the ball in hand inside Police territory. That is what is important. And let's see if they can build on this momentum, build on this previous move, and capitalize on this to convert things into points. And as we speak, the line out seems to be clean, and it's a good breakaway run.
Nicely done by Lashinda Vishan Karunatilaka, who has been at the center of most things that Sia have done well today. And that's a terrible pass again from Kavindu De Costa at the bootlaces. Sutanukanane Akara again, can't blame him for dropping that one. And this is where the senior players need to stand up for Sia, as Police will just keep pushing back and be super happy that they've repelled that attack. Unfortunately for Police, we haven't seen the likes of Madhushankar with the ball in hand today. You can see that they're making a nuisance of themselves by standing in the face of the defense and forcing that bad pass.
Well, another chance goes begging for CRNFC. And Police, well, credit should go to them. Their defense has been absolutely fantastic. Not giving much width for CR three-quarters to run, even though the CR three-quarters are forming very deep inside Shanaka.
Absolutely, Clifford. Primesh Tanushka goes under the post for Prince Chamara to thump this one downfield. He hasn't looked for touch. That ball also has gone backwards. It looks like, no, it hasn't. It's gone forward. So 2 misses from Zubair Dore, uncharacteristic from him. Usually pretty safe under the high ball, but Prince Chamara kicks it in a very old-fashioned way, isn't it, Clifford? He spirals the ball, which is not something that a lot of kickers do now. And a lot of fullbacks probably don't have that spiral kick to contend with, but really should have done better. Dore under no pressure, just misjudged that ball.
Well, I think on that occasion he was with 2 minds, concentrating on the ball and also looking at the charging player. And there you go, that's Dore. And it's been a fantastic 7 for CRNFC. He has had a good season so far, I would say.
He scored a couple of tries and done some very good things, releasing players outside him, but needs to improve in a few areas. I'm sure he'll be the first to admit that, as CR make an important substitution, bringing on Viduna Amanet for the captain. That bootlace pass was the last contribution from Kavindu. He will hope that he will get to lead his team into the final, but at the moment, Police will be taking that spot if the game finishes now. Police eventually getting the numbers there to win that ball. Dulanjana still takes 3 players to bring him down. Manilka Ruberu eventually brings down the freight train. And here's Prince Chamara again looking for the corners. Nilfa Ibrahim has taught his players what to look for against his CR side. That could have been a very good kick, but Kalindu Nandila fielded it beautifully.
Well, good intention, but well collected by CRNFC as well. Well, Shana, could be time and again we talk about teams rebuilding season after season, and CR we see for the last 3 seasons been rebuilding. Well, I'm not sure whether the rebuilding phase has been stopped or still is it ongoing.
Well, one thing that they've always had to do is be able to retain players, Clifford, and the problem with that has been the availability of budgets for them. Some of the Forces players, obviously they're being paid a decent salary from the Force to actually play rugby, so the demands of their budgets are probably not as telling as it is for a private club who have to find sponsorships, which has been difficult in the last couple of years.
But if this young lot can be retained and trained and inculcate that CRFC culture and the traditions, the values of the club, I'm sure you'll be able to. The club will be able to achieve better results in coming years. And having said that, you can see this season has been pretty good season for CRFC.
Yes, they've come from 7-2 in the league, which I think is a huge leap for any club. But of course, winning this silverware, the Clifford Cup, will be what they desperately want. Ball picked up by Kavin Srivakum, but again there's a stoppage. So once again that stoppage playing into the hands of police, and referee Alexander needs to understand what's happening. Also bringing health and safety into play here, but play could have gone on with the doctor coming on. Lovely tackle from Chatura Senayaratne, lining up Madhusankar, but he's up and playing. The police number 13. Just didn't really see what happened in that tackle, if you can watch it again.
Number 14.
Gihan Yatavara again alerting the referee to that head knock, but could probably have allowed the medical staff to come on with the play to continue. Wow. That's interesting. It'll be good to be able to see that tackle again.
Well, that was Gamanu Chetia. As soon as he committed for that tackle, he knew he was wrong and put his arm around, or rather arm up, and said, "That was me." And then again, made life easy for referee, but shouldn't have been the tackle, but it was pretty much not unintended. So I hope the play is okay.
It really would be good to see that tackle again. Here it is. This is not the one. This is Chatura Senayaratne. Here's Chetia in the number 14 shirt. Yep, was a clothesline. So that's bad discipline from two very important players for Sia, Gamanu Chetia and Vagisha Veerasinghe. And if this game is lost, they'll have to think back to that game in Kandy as well, where they gave away two crucial yellow cards and made some unforgivable errors. And they'll have to think it's more of the same if police manage to go ahead and spring a surprise here. You can see the CR section of the crowd looking pretty dejected, and rightly so, because their team have not been playing like the favourites they are for this Clifford Cup. Dulanchana Vijayasinghe to Mohan Vimalaratne. Here's Heshan Tilakaratne off the back again. Sketchy tackle again, that time from Lasindu Ishan. And it looks like Lasindu Ishan might go to the bin as well.
Okay, back-to-back 2 yellow cards, and this is going to be carnival for police, I would say. 13 against 15 inside, deep inside CRNFC territory, and obviously they'll be going for points.
Well, it'll be good to see that one again as well, because Lasindu Ishan insisting that he tried to wrap, but this looked worse than the first one he got a penalty for. Here it is off the back, Hashan Tilakaratne. And looked like Hashan jumped into the tackle. So that's dangerous play again from the ball carrier also. So CRNFC find themselves 2 players down. And Lasindu Ishan tried to wrap his arms, but said there was no player to wrap my arms around. As you can see, that Tilakaratne was in the air. So couple of interesting calls. Gihan Yatavara intervening there as well. And Prince Chamara makes no mistake, as police go into a lead, 13 points to 9.
Well, Shanaka, for a moment I thought police, their line has been working well for them, and they have 13 against 15. Thought they're going to go for touch, but again they're opting to go for points here. But makes sense, they're extending the lead, probably they'll work on that, and that is what it matters. And right now still police have the advantage. 13 against 15, and 13-9 is the score. and gradually extending the lead. CR have a lot to do from here on.
With 13 players, that mountain is getting even more difficult to climb. And there's another bit of ill discipline around the Harshana that time on Dulanjana Vijayasinghe. Looks like that might be another yellow card. CR might have 3 players in the bin.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. These are basic stuff.
Number 25.
Knows the player wasn't here. Seems to be another card coming up.
Yeah, and you can't argue with this. Clifford around the Harshana made his own bed there, and now he's got to lie in it for 10 minutes. So 12 plays 15. And you can't argue with that. I did have a few things to say about Lasinda Vishan's yellow card, because I thought Heshan Tilakaratne jumped into that tackle. And you can see the sin bin is looking more like the CR bench.
Very much so. But again, police, I'm sure they'll be capitalizing on that. The coach must be having a laugh. And it's going to give them a lot of confidence now. They have the lead, and that's going to be dangerous. Look at that replay.
He's around the Harshana, does really well to get there. Well, we didn't see it at that angle. It was the other angle that will show it to us. Really was quite dangerous. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe did well to spring up.
Vijay Singh has been very instrumental in winning penalties. It's the 4th penalty that he was involved in.
That's not how he'd want to do it, though. Not at the receiving end. You can see Sia's body language is already dropped off the top, and now they will run against a ragged defense. Have to do all the work. Madhusankar. Here's Janit Chanaka. First touch of the ball for the former Josephian. Ball dropped backwards as Fernando waits for it at the back. Amjad Farmer with a lovely short ball to Surya Peruma. Primesh Anushka now to Hopwood, who's come up into the line. Dulanjana Vijayasinghe with a lovely pass to the right. Cutting back into the field of play was the police Pradeep Kumar. Surya Peruma. Good tackle on the number 26. Madhusankar to Kumara. And a good tackle by Khaludin Andila again. That the ball is available now. And Kavin Srivikum. Here's Ravin De Silva looking for players to pass to. And there aren't many of them left. So not sure again why that advantage was stopped, because it looked like CR might have numbers over on the outside. But referee Alexander not letting play go on despite there being plenty of room for it to happen. Coming back to attend the injured players. Not sure that that's the correct protocol, especially if the players are passed to. And there aren't many of them left.
Well, good passage of play there by police.
Why that advantage
6 or
was
7
stopped,
different
because
faces.
it looks like CR might have
Brought the ball
numbers
down,
over
but
on the
good
outside.
defensive tackle coming equally from CRNFC.
But referee Alexander not
good
letting
tackle
play
by
go
Khalid
on
Andila
despite there being
12
plenty
men.
of room for it to happen.
Playing
Coming
against
back to
15.
attend the injured players. Not sure that that's the correct protocol,
Ravin De Silva.
especially if the players are passed to.
Tackle.
And there aren't many of them left.
Well, good passage of play there by
Sure again
police.
why that advantage was stopped,
very
because
good
it
faces.
looks like CR might have
Brought the ball
numbers over
down,
on
but
the
good
outside.
defensive tackle coming equally from CRNFC.
But referee
Looks like
Alexander
a
not
good
letting
tackle
play
by
go
Khalid
on
Andila
despite
again.
stop the game for a
There
time.
being
Plenty
plenty
of
of
room
room
for
for
it to
it
happen.
to
Coming back to
baffles
attend
me.
the injured players. Not sure that that's the correct protocol,
Again, another long
especially if the
stop
players
away.
are passed to.
Tackle.
And there aren't many of them left.
Well, good
And
passage of play there by
sure again
police.
why that advantage was stopped,
Very, very
because
good
it
faces.
looks like
Really
CR
keep
might
brought
have
the ball
numbers
down,
over
but
the
good
outside.
defensive tackle coming equally from
What's going on?
CRNFC.
But referee
Looks like
Alexander
a
not
good
letting
tackle
play
by
go
Khalid
on
Andila
again.
again.
Stop the game for a
There
time.
being
Plenty
plenty
of
of
room
room
for
for
it
it
to
to
happen.
happen.
Coming back to attend the injured players. Not sure that that's the correct protocol,
Again, another long
especially if the
stop
players
away.
are passed to, especially
Tackle.
running against a
And
12
there
man
aren't
many of
defense.
them left.
Well, good passage of play there by Police. Very, very good tackle. Brought the ball down, but good defensive tackle coming equally from CRNFC.
But referee Alexander not placed by the game for a coming back to a 10 let's make sure that that's the correct protocol. Running against the 12-man, many of them left.
This is going back to sevens. Well, good passage of play there by Police. Very, very good tackle. Brought the ball down, but good defensive tackle coming equally from CRNFC.
But referee Alexander not placed by the game for a coming back to a 10 let's make sure that that's the correct protocol. Against the 12-man, many more they can fast.
Well, good passage of play there by Police.
The numbers are equal. Referee Vijay Singh is off from CRNFC. He's worth about 3 players. Coming back to a 10 let's make sure that that's the correct protocol. Against the 12-man, many more they can fast. Almost down.
Good passage of play there by Police.
The numbers are equal. Referee Vijay Singh is off from CRNFC. He's worth about 3 players. That ball is out hook. Bad mistake by Lamanen there. You can't afford to do that when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and another day. Numbers are equal. Referee Vijay Singh is off from CRNFC. He's worth about 3 players.
Losing that space,
out hook. Bad mistake by Lamanen there. You can't afford to do that when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and another day. Numbers are equal. Almost worked for them. He's worth about 3 out hook. Bad mistake by Lamanen there. You can't afford to do that when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and another day. Numbers are equal. Almost worked for them. He's worth about 3 and it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hook. The ball came out the back. Somehow Russell Silva got wrong. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and there you have to say there's 20 minutes left in the game. The way things have been going, I don't see them coming back into this team. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hook. The ball came out the back. Somehow Russell Silva got wrong. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and there you have to say there's 20 minutes left in the game. The way things have been going, I don't see them coming back into this team. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hook. The ball came out the back. Somehow Russell Silva got wrong. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and there you have to say there's 20 minutes left in the game. The way things have been going, I don't see them coming back into this team. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hook. The ball came out the back. Somehow Russell Silva got wrong. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and there you have to say there's 20 minutes left in the game. The way things have been going, I don't see them coming back into this team. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hook. The ball came out the back. Somehow Russell Silva got wrong. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and Police knocking that ball on and there you have to say there's 20 minutes left in the game. The way things have been going, I don't see them coming back into this team. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hooks the ball, came out the back. Somehow Robin Silva got round. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and the way this has been going, I don't see them coming back into the game. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hooks the ball, came out the back. Somehow Robin Silva got round. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and the way this has been going, I don't see them coming back into the game. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hooks the ball, came out the back. Somehow Robin Silva got round. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and the way this has been going, I don't see them coming back into the game. And it looks like they might have scored. Yes, it is. Out hooks the ball, came out the back. Somehow Robin Silva got round. Who scored that try when you have a 12-man line and the way this has been going, I possibly can, and that's perfectly fine. Mohan Vimalaratne calling for it. It's been excellent in the line out, has Vimalaratne today. Looks like that was a truck and trailer, and referee on the spot to see that. Lasindu Isan, who's back on the park, will think about taking this one quickly. But instead, Chatura Seneviratne will try to get them a few more yards. And that's a decent kick from the Sia outside centre. The truck and trailer with the ball carrier being dislodged from the maul, so you've got to stay in contact with your bind arm all the way up to the shoulder, all the way through. And the police ball carrier that time becoming dislodged. Achit Radishan sacked that time by the police player. Nicely done by police, but they've managed to give away an advantage. Amaneth, police line completely offside there. Amaneth will try to take this one quickly. That's he does. And he goes to the line. Dragged down just inches short. Senura Pereira now carries it on. Lasindu Ishan will go over for the first try for CRNFC. He's had it all to do. Was pinged for a block tackle on Dulanjana Vijay Singh early in the first half. Was very unfortunate to be sent off later on in the game. Uses his leg drive to good effect and gets over for the try.
Well, Shanaka, it's a good try, well played, one by CRNFC, and capitalizing on that move. And also you can see CRNFC players are showing some urgency right now, and that also shows that they have some intention of winning this game, so they're not giving up.
Well, they've left the urgency till the 70th minute almost. Clifford, have to ask where that was in the last hour or so.
Very crucial kick.
The police fans on this side of the pitch letting Chatura Seneviratne know exactly what they think of him, but that spurs him into action and he manages to convert that. So it's a 7-point. Kicking has been good from both Prince Chamara and Chatra today.
Last 10.
A quite interesting fact, Chanaka, if you look at the Clifford Cup. Since 1950, where the clubs are involved, 57 was the first year it was played outside of Colombo, and that was in Radella grounds. And then again, until 1992, it was played in Colombo as the tradition, and 92 it was shifted to Kandy. And that's the first time that Kandy has ever won the Clifford Cup. And right now, it's happening here back in Colombo at Racecourse.
Well, Leranda Harshana is having a match to forget. Sia restored to their full complement, but Harshana, with a very simple collection of the restart, has gifted this dominant Police scrum the ball. These are the mistakes that they cannot afford at this moment in time, but Police are so experienced. Nilüfer Ibrahim's side very calm, composed, just allowing Sia to play into their own hands. You have to take your hat off to Mohan Vimalaratne, who now moves to the flank, who has kept this Police team really well oiled. Surya Peruma at the back of the scrum this time. Here's Madhusankar, gets a chance to run for the first time in this game. Big tackle that time on Surya Peruma, who even on the ground continues to give instructions.
Not survive, not survive.
Here's the ball available for Prince Chamara, who tries a drop kick. It's well wide. And Zubair Dore, I don't know why he was taking so long, will touch it down. And he finds a little bit of space with his drop kick and manages to find a bit of territory as well. So good thinking from Dore at that point.
Well, sensible bit of play there by CRNFC. Saw that drop goal not coming through, and good collection and recharge, and managed to bring the team back into the Police territory. Until such time they were a little bit under pressure, trying to deal with the attack. But Police intentions are also clear, Shanaka. They just want to get away with this game and trying to add more points. If they have another slip or a missed opportunity, that could cost the game for them.
Well, it's 20 points to 16 at the moment. And you can see that Prince Chamara is just pointing downfield and saying, let's just play the game in the opposite half, and you can't argue with the Police fly half. Ravin De Silva almost got a hand to that, but Surya Peruma comes away with it. And this Police line out and drive has been excellent today. Still going. Good discipline from Sia to keep it up there. Finally splintering and going to ground. Primesh Tanushka. And that's exactly where he was pointing Prince Chamara. Zubair will wait for it, but beautifully taken. Well, not taken, but knocked on by Madhusankar. Here's Gamunu Chetia running into the arms of Prince Chamara, and there he loses the ball forward. And they will come back for the first knock on. So Chetia lucky that advantage was not over.
Well, seems like the CRNFC three quarters have woken up now. They know there's an urgency. They know the time is running out for them.
Good tackle by Prince Chamara to stop him in his tracks. Chetia's got to be careful about leading with that forearm. The fend is clearly not something that players are taught nowadays. Lasin Divishan goes off the back. Dummies. Looks for some support now and finally gets it. Amanit. Again the advantage was coming, but the referee opts to blow the game up while CR have the ball. It's a few times that has happened. Referee Alexander. So that's another really good kick from Seniviratne, who's used the pressure well. He's turned back. And he's performing better than that lackluster middle period of the game.
Keep the gap. Keep the gap. Keep the gap.
Sia will probably go to number 2
Keep the gap.
in this line out. Prachit Adeshan.
Ball form.
Sia driving over, and it looks like they might have got the ball down. Yes, they have. Looks like it's Ashan Darling or Amit Gurusinghe who touches down. And suddenly, Police have the game to play all over again.
What a charge. It's a late charge and it's a good comeback. And beautifully worked. And using much of the power there to drive through, and Police. This is what they were waiting for. And finally the CR forwards, they are pumping their fist in the air. Something beautiful to watch. But on the other hand, Police, they had the game in hand, but they really have to work hard to get that game back into their hands. CRNFC, on the other hand, moving forward with a strong charge, a late charge.
So they've just gotten into the lead, and this to make that lead 3 points instead of 1. Chatura Seniviratne with his most difficult kick of the game, and wow, the pressure really has had a positive impact on Chatura as Sia now go into the lead by kicking boots at half-time. Clifford.
Well, delivering at the big moments, that is what it matters for good players, and he is doing it.
But Police, who have been in front for most of this game, will continue to have a run. You can see that things have shifted. And Mohan Vimalaratne completely not understanding that there was a ruck there, not willing to understand that there was a ruck there. Going straight in after the ball, and Sia don't have to do anything silly now.
Well, the final thing is he was trying to prove a point, Chanaka, after that call.
The Police team now have it all to do, and they've got some game breakers in their side, Clifford. Madhusanka is one of those players, and if they can get the ball into his hands, Vihanka Pivituru as well, who's just come onto the park, fresh legs. They need to run at this CR team. Just create a little bit of indecision in the defense. Shane Hopwood, another man who can counter-attack well. Ravin De Silva, and again the throw is completely awry.
Just come down, blue ball.
Chanaka, both teams racing against time. So both teams racing against time, and seems like CR is slightly ahead of Police, and if they can hold on to this, that's going to be a thriller.
Well, Police will want to try and milk a penalty from this scrum, try and get down to the other end of the field. Primesh Danushka to feed. Here they go for a drive, and the arm is up from the referee. Not sure where Sia actually came away from that, because the front row still looked like it was bound. Danushka. Long pass from Prince Chamara to Heshan Tilakaratna. They'll go all the way back to that penalty though. Thought Sia did well to stay down and stay bound, but the referee still seeing the penalty.
Well, considering the previous infringement, it has become habitual now. It's pretty much instincts when you go into a scrum. But that's the tactics that police was carrying throughout the game, and they've been very successful in that. And the question from now onwards, how far they can go from here and how best they can restore the lead. But on the other hand, CR, they have done all the hard work, and they really have to work for a little few more minutes to hold on to this lead.
Amit Gurusinghe that time winding up on the ground, and again it's the injured players taking up this time. Police didn't seem to be in too much of a hurry, although they should have, because they're chasing the game with not a lot left on the clock. But the time is off, so no worries for many of them. Shenal Adhikari is the man who's on the pitch in the forwards for police.
Time back on. Going up.
Ball has bounced in the field of play, and that's not something that the CR player should have allowed to bounce, but now they have an opportunity to counter-attack. Here's Prince Chamara trying to atone for his mistake. Eventually a tackle is made. Manil Kuruberu was the man making it. Vihanga Piviture now cutting back in field. Ruberu makes another tackle. Prince Chamara to Rasit Silva. Here's Surya Peruman. There's numbers on the outside. Here's Madhusankar. He's the danger man. Takes two players to bring him down. But over the ball is Rachit Adishan and Lasindu Ishan. And Madhusankar says, "What could I do, sir?" It's really good work from the CR back rowers late on in the game, especially on the dangerous Madhusankar.
You can see Chatur Senardhi inquiring from the ref the time left, and he'll be kicking accordingly. Oh, that's a good kick.
Like it was Adishan getting back, enjoying that, the flanker. CR do well to secure that eventually, but looks like there was a knock on.
First knock on blue. Yes, it's a first knock on by blue. Over.
And that looks like the game is done and dusted. So we've lost the clock on our screens, but it's 80 minutes and the knock forward has happened, so the game will come to an end. And police, despite leading for most of that game and looking like they deserved to win it, couldn't survive that late charge from CRNFC. Police doing wonderfully well for a majority of that game, having 12 players to play against, and that was the period, Clifford, that they will look back and think we didn't capitalize enough at the time that we were playing against 12 players. So perhaps that's a little moment that when Dunanjana Vijayasinghe went off, that's when police started to let go of the control and the grip that they had on this game. Relief man on the left of your picture there, Dushant Leuke.
A little bit of bromance between the teams. Well, it's obvious heated contest.
23-20.
So that's the final score, 23-20. And Dushant Luke, who was sitting in the bench, a little bit worried.
The largest paint supplier of Japanese vehicles. Original equipment manufacturer approved, Nax Premila 2K is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
වසර 130ක විශ්වාසයෙන් දැන් ඕඩලස් තාක්ෂණයෙන්
Nippon Odorless Paints. තත්වයෙන් උසස් හොඳම තේරීම.
Nippon Paints. Live with colors. Nippon Paints. Live with colors.
Play to win the game. We'll take care of your aches and pains. Sidale Spray. Trusted for 8 decades for quick relief from all aches and pains.